The job ad looked ordinary, almost boring. Night watchman required. No experience needed. Immediate start. That was it. No company name. No address. Just a phone number written in a shaky font, like it had been scanned from an old newspaper. I should have ignored it, but rent was overdue, and night jobs paid better than day ones. I called. A man answered after the first ring. His voice was dry, tired, and oddly distant, as if he was speaking from the end of a long hallway. "You start tonight," he said. "Bring a flashlight. Don't leave your post." Before I could ask where the place was, the line went dead. A message arrived seconds later with a location pin. The building stood at the edge of the city, far beyond the last streetlight. An abandoned industrial complex, officially closed years ago, after a series of accidents. The main gate was already open, creaking slightly in the wind, as if it had been expecting me. Inside, the air smelled of dust, rust, and something faintly metallic. The walls were covered in peeling paint and warning signs that had long lost their meaning. A small security booth sat near the entrance. On the desk inside lay a logbook, a flashlight, and a single sheet of paper titled Rules for the Night Watchman. There were only 3 rules. Do not leave the security room between 12 a.m. and 3:33 a.m. If you hear footsteps, do not investigate. If someone knocks, do not answer. No signature. No explanation. At 11:58 p.m., the building fell completely silent. Even the wind outside seemed to stop. My watch ticked loudly, each second echoing in the small room. I tried to laugh it off. Old buildings made noises. Everyone knew that. Then, at exactly 12:07 a.m., I heard footsteps. Slow, heavy, coming from the hallway outside the booth. They stopped right in front of the door. I held my breath, staring at the handle. It didn't move. Instead, something scratched gently at the metal, like fingernails testing the surface. A soft voice whispered my name. I had never told anyone my name. I remembered the rules and stayed perfectly still. After a minute, the footsteps moved away, fading deeper into the building. I told myself that if I survived this shift, I would quit. No money was worth this. That was when I noticed something new in the logbook. A fresh line of text, written in ink that was still wet. "First night always lies to you." The radio on the desk crackled without warning. I hadn't even noticed it before. It looked ancient, its surface scratched. The frequency wheel stuck between stations. Static hissed, then slowly faded into breathing. Not a voice. Just breathing. Calm. Patient. I turned the volume down, but the sound didn't change. At 12:44 a.m., the hallway lights went out. Not all at once, one by one, moving closer to the security room. Each click echoed like a countdown. I sat frozen, eyes locked on the door. Something passed in front of the small window. It wasn't fast. It wasn't slow. It moved with purpose, like it knew I was watching. A shadow with the rough shape of a person, but stretched wrong. Its head slightly tilted as if it were trying to understand doors. The logbook flipped open on its own. A new line appeared. "Don't let it learn you." My phone had no signal. The clock above the door stopped ticking. It was stuck at 1:11 a.m. Yet my watch said 1:48. Time here wasn't broken. It was selective. Footsteps returned, heavier now. They circled the booth. Each step pressed closer to the walls, as if something were leaning in to listen. Then came the knock. Once. Rule number 3 burned in my mind. I didn't answer. The knock came again, softer this time. Almost polite. A voice whispered through the door, perfectly copying my own. "Let me in. I know the rest of the rules." The knocking stopped at exactly 2 a.m. Silence followed, thicker than before. I realized my hands were shaking. I hadn't blinked in minutes. The radio spoke again. This time, it was a voice. "You're doing better than most." I asked who was talking before I could stop myself. "A former watchman," the voice replied. "Or what's left." The radio explained things in fragments, as if long sentences were dangerous here. The building wasn't abandoned. It was sealed. Something had happened during the night shift years ago. An incident involving mirrors, emergency lights, and people who stayed too long after hearing their own voices calling them. The job wasn't to protect the building. It was to distract it. It learns patterns, the voice said. Faces. Names. Fear. At 2:37 a.m., the hallway lights turned on again. But they showed something new. Reflections where none should be. Walls that mirrored movements a second too late. In one reflection, I wasn't sitting. I was standing outside the booth. Smiling. The logbook filled another page by itself. If it finishes copying you, you stay. I finally understood why no one's name was written anywhere. Names made you real. At 3:12 a.m., the door handle turned. The clock jumped forward. 3:33 a.m. Every rule ended here. The door didn't open. Instead, the walls of the security room began to breathe. In and out. The air grew warm, then cold, then neither. The reflection version of me stepped closer to the glass. Its mouth didn't move when it spoke. You can go home. I can finish the job. The radio screamed. Not static, screaming. Images flooded my mind. Other watchmen leaving at dawn, thinking they survived, while something else walked out wearing their skin. The real one stayed behind, slowly fading into voices, rules, warnings. I grabbed the logbook and tore out the last page. I wrote a new rule. If it offers relief, it is lying. The lights exploded. The reflection shattered like broken water. A sound like metal bending echoed through the building. Then, nothing. At 4:01 a.m., the sun rose. The gate was closed when I walked out. I quit that morning. Weeks passed. Nothing followed me home. No shadows. No whispers. I convinced myself it was stress, imagination, and old building playing tricks. Then I saw the ad again. Same words. Different phone number. Curiosity 1. I called. A familiar voice answered. Calm. Tired. You start tonight, it said. Bring a flashlight. I hung up, heart pounding. That night, my phone received a message from an unknown number. A location pin. The same place. Below it, a final message. Still here. I opened my notebook to write this story down. The ink was still wet.